War. War never changes. Or whatever Obama said. Hey, have you ever been so angry that you use your hatred as justification for genocide?
You're dead to me.
That is what being a blackguard in Warhammer Online is like. Your hatred is so hot that you go on a bloody crusade throughout your old homeland, quite literally just to say I told you so to those assholes. I've spent the last 30 days becoming a hate-filled war machine, and in the end, the rage won. We start this long road to ruin by picking our class. Last time I played Warhammer Online, I played the Witch Hunter for the Order, and I always thought that the Destro had it so much better. I felt like being a tank this round, because that sounded like it would be fun. I mean, how could you PvP as a tank, though? That never made sense to me. What possibly could they use? Please, O Panzer of the Lake, share with me your wisdom. The unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. We decide that the best tank that we are going to move forward with could have arguably been the big beefy Black Orc or the Ironclad Chosen, but no, given that there is no sense to be had in this choice and the overwhelming hatred for our brothers wearing white after Labor Day, I chose the Blackguard, the Ironclad Personal Guard of Malekith. Who is Malekith? You don't know Malekith? Possibly the biggest case of toddler tantrums that has ever existed. Kinda. He was supposed to be the Phoenix King, the ruler of the High Elves, as he was the son of the first great Phoenix King, except he was too badass. The High Elf Council, sipping their tea and complimenting each other's Xenoye Galvis hairstyle, decided that they didn't need an absolute brilliant commander and terrifying warrior as a ruler of the High Elves. They needed someone with soft hands. Long story short, he eventually got fed up with their constant BS of not listening to him, that he threw himself into the oven, cooked himself at 7,000 degrees, and much like Anakin Skywalker, they slapped some armor that fused to his skin, painted it black, and made him into some kind of extra crispy Hot Pocket. Basically, the elves under his command said the same thing.
Your mom's a hoe.
This leads us to today. We get to our boy here for the story of the Dark Elves versus the High Elves. The narrator feeds us some hate fuel and we're ready to go. I gather every quest here, and what's absolutely hilarious is that each one of these NPCs literally has the same voice lines and voice actors.
What news? I have a task for you. Why are you still here? You bring news?
I know that this is like a revived personal project, but it still makes me laugh because they all sound the same. Like everyone is the same. Every male Dark Elf sounds the same. Every female Dark Elf sounds the same. Like, it's hilarious. Well, the slaughter begins with us mounting a siege engine and enacting vengeance by war crimes on our white High Elven brethren. Literally impaling fields of elves that are lined up like cattle going into Burger King. Boy, they were not kidding when they said that the Dark Elves have some anger problems. This stems even further for quests having us kill some small pixies that are literally just floating around. Arguably, I don't think that they were doing anything wrong, but the amount of prejudice that we had for these guys are actually ridiculous.
That's it right there. Oh, you got it now. Now take the little homie out LAPD style like you do.
Arriving in the Black Ark Landing hub, we are greeted with like 15 more quests. We ding to level 3 and now have 6 abilities. Like, damn, slow down. This isn't the car ride home after prom night. I believe that we were supposed to have some guidance on slaying more than just what I was given, but like literally the first 4 quests that I get are like go out and kill like novices and shadow warriors and any high elf that you can find. Damn, Dark Elves, you scary. This island is legit nothing but combat. There's greenskins, Dark Elves, and lions? Like, this is all over the damn place. Well, despite me having some strong abilities, I hit like a ridiculously wet noodle. I mean, absolutely so. Then the first thing of many different things that would piss me off in this journey is the fact that the mobs take about 20 damn seconds to respawn. Okay, it's not normally a problem, but actually it's a huge problem if you DPS softer than your grandpa without Viagra. This means that not only do I have to balance my damage in my pools, I have to hurry my ass up because they respawn so damn quickly, and they'll literally just pop up and murk me completely. This is going to be a very long reoccurring stressor in this damn journey. I know that the White Lions of Trace are absolutely a badass class. I mean, they summon lions, they have huge axes, they can do this huge kitty cat leap. All great things, but holy hell, these lions are ripping me to shreds here. They start respawning almost immediately after I kill them. This is so stupid. Who am I, Siegfried and Roy? Okay, that one was a little rough. Poor guy. Yeah. Well, in this hellish jungle, I get my first death, obliterated by some random high elf with a big badass sword. Like, okay, cool. Thought I was supposed to be unstoppable. What the crap is this? I use a secret sneaky technique to get close enough to one of the kill targets, but honestly, I just explored the wall climbing and went around. I mean, it's older MMOs, they have this, like you can kind of jimmy your way up the wall, no problem. Anyway, kiss my I'm a winner. After hitting the next Dark Elf war camp, I gather quests and killing more High Elves like I should. Then the best thing happens, I get my level 6 ability, Shield of Rage. It provides me and whoever I'm protecting with the temporary shield absorbing damage. Have you ever been so angry that you use it to ignore pain? Actually, I do when I see that you don't like this video and subscribe to the channel. I fart around Arcana Storm for a little bit, but I don't really go any further for right now as I spend way too much time trying to figure out where this damn Sprite quest is. It says that it's north of us, but it's more like northeast. It's a load of crap. Well, I think to myself, you know what time it is right now? It's the best time to go out and do some old-fashioned RVR or open world PvP. Realm v Realm to be exact. Did you know that this kind of old style MMO PvP can only be shown on YouTube if it is back set to Disturbed? Well, the best part about this PvP is literally why it is so loved, because you can just jump in and start smashing away. Like, I even think as early as like level 5, but damn, it just feels so good to have like the sweet, simple PvP. War lines drawn, everything is wild, people just running around, there's no sense of what's happening. It's just a lot of people throwing themselves into different directions and hoping to get a kill. And I will say that Destro absolutely crushes tier 1s. Let's be serious, like I have been having a great time here. This is one of the few things that brought joy to my weary face. Well, what I didn't know is that I was stacking levels and renown insanely quickly. And what I would find out quite a bit later is that my renown is the lifeblood of my character's progression in Warhammer Online. Literally getting to max level is one thing, but getting to renown rank like 80 is a huge deal. Only thing is that most of the best gear in the game is behind renown, which means you have to PvP a lot to get to the higher renown ranks, as you really only get renown in battlegrounds or scenarios as they're called, or in realm versus realm battles. Well, after an absolute bloodbath of order members dying, I say I have had my fill here, my hatred is sated. So let's go back to killing more of our high elf brethren. I get wrapped up in killing and other things, but I start this public quest, Nemosar. I really should have read more information of how effing difficult that these guys would have been. These horsey boys are ripping us apart, and they're only like level 4. I'm like twice their level. Well, I do the best that I can survive, but he removes my upper torso like a half-price sale at the Darth Mall. Well, fortune favors us a little bit better, and I pick up a group of 3 who are assisting me. I still get absolutely demolished by these guys like crazy hard, down to like 1% HP before 2 sorcerers pull up and they fire off their Gatling guns of spells to kill the Songblade once again. I take aggro for like a second, but this is a level 4 hero and he has more HP than Heward Packard. After some awkward kiting, he goes down and we finish the public quest. Yay! I get some loot, it's a crazy good experience. I go back to slaughtering everything to fill what meaningless EXP I can get. And now I am 1 level off of being a quarter of the way there. Oof. The next batch of quests has me going to steal some stuff from the sea-dwelling elves, which is funny just because for some reason blackguards have an absolute vendetta against casters. They just like absolutely obliterate them with no hesitation. Like I have no problem fighting any caster. And it's usually not a problem as I have unyielding rage for all things good and just. But the next quest literally has me ripping out the hearts of unicorns. Yo guys, I have 3 daughters, man. If they saw this, there would be hell to pay. I mean, they're hearts, they're freaking hearts. All to summon a skelly boy that we end up killing? Really? I'm just saying, I had some ethical issues with this one. I may be angry, but damn, this is a brand new level of anger. I get grouped up with some scantily clad elf women. Together, we go and kill some shadow walkers for a public quest, but actually it's kind of hilarious here as the all-women witch elves, and it means that they apparently wear barely anything, but they're like one of the most formidable forces on the battlefield, and I'm supposed to be the tank, but I'm over here looking like I got rejected as the lead singer of 30 Seconds to Mars tribute band. Cause tonight will be... Well, progressing further south to my next big questing hub, I'm ready to get my grind on. I decided to queue up for a scenario, which is just a small PvP match, and see how well it goes. Should be good, right? Why wouldn't it be? I mean, I'm a tank, ready to defend my allies from enemy shenanigans. What I didn't realize was what an absolute cluster the scenarios are. Not only is my UI bugging out, but there are so many different things happening, I have no idea. I'm pressing buttons, hoping people are dying. I've completely forgot that I'm supposed to protect my allies, and I end up just running around trying to kill the healers. I have so many buffs under my character, it's actually blocking out which one of my allies is dying. God, I missed old school PvP MMOs, man. Well, we lose despite making some good kills and such, and I didn't play any of the objectives, so I can't even, it's probably my healer's fault. Well, I hit level 10, and that is the first stab of the journey, and it only lowered my life expectancy by 5 years. Hey, win is a win. With me being basically done with Trace and Blighted Isles, I set my sights for the Shadowlands, or as I would come to call it, this place of utter bullshit. And I see why now the Dark Elves hate the High Elves. Not only is this place terrible to traverse, it is a desolate swamp jungle thing, and everyone here wants to kick my ass. I also take a moment to look at all my different achievements that I've earned, and mainly all I get is a bunch of titles because I've died so much in this effing game. Hope this doesn't become a trend. This land, the Shadowlands, is home of the Nagarathi, a once super important and very prestigious place in Elven history that they basically nuked all hell with all their squabbling. Now, the elves that live here are basically completely out for vengeance against the Dark Elf. Led by the descendant child of one of the house nobles, Eataine, or better known as the Shadow King, each one of these buggers absolutely trucks me in combat. So I do what any sane person would do. Let's PvP. What I don't realize is that in the early matches of Tier 1, basically every match is like 3 to 4 people whacking away at each other until they fall over. Then we get some orcs that really live up to the name of being all brawn, no brain. He grabs the capture point flag, runs it over to the enemy's base, and then just stands there. Well, somehow the enemy team just straight up surrenders and we win. They were so confused by this brazen display that they had to go back to restart. Anyway, I go back to questing through this shithole swamp, and I can't contain myself, deciding to do the best thing, which is to enjoy more sweet war PvP. Realm v Realm it is. And this time we are going to visit our green boys fighting some stunties. And yes, that isn't absolutely a shot at dwarves. They're short and they're stunty. So what I figured out is that we have to get 100% while holding off the capture points, all of them, which adds so much more stress because these short little buggers are like everywhere. I thought goblins would be annoying,
and the dwarfs just spring out of holes in the ground.
Well, Destro shows up and we prevent any pushing into any of the objectives from the Horses of Order, and we win. But honestly, being up front feels so damn good. It's like I felt like I was the main tank here. Look at me go, I'm holding them off. I get my first Realm v Realm cap area win. Lots of experience and even more renown. I see why people do this. Also, F dwarves. I'm kidding, I really don't like the rune masters though. They're broken and need to be removed from the game. Well, things do improve a bit for me after this. I get some good gear, and holy hell, I needed this because I was getting smacked by these wannabe bowmen. It's not like the archers of Avelorn will show up. Well, I also get a new weapon, which is a glaive, and honestly, I'm all for it. It does much bigger swings, more DPS, and is absolutely blasting even through some of the tougher mobs that are here, which is nice. I'm still finding that I get absolutely trucked too, so even with me slicing my shield of rage, it does little to stem the massive damage that I'm taking. And it's actually, you know, a little bit embarrassing. I thought I was supposed to be some kind of cool Dark Knight that is like formidable, you know, stoic, as it were, and it's just I'm about as limp as a pile of silly string.
For you little baby boobop.
And just so you know, I could have gone more erotic with that joke, but I chose not to. Thank you very much. Also, I want you to appreciate how witch elves run. For some reason, when they're the right distance away, they like kind of speed skate. I mean, look at this girl. I progressed through Elf Hell only to find a group to take down a public quest, which was actually really nice because I bring like no DPS to the fight, and all I can really do is just tank some things. So, hey, you know what? I'll take what I can get. I get joined by this disciple of Cain healer, aptly named Novocaine, and you know, sometimes these jokes just write themselves. Well, the three Migos and I join together, a little bit of killing and murking, and then I get another scenario pop, and this is one of the most shocking defeats that I've had right up front. Like, yeah, we made some progress, but I didn't expect to lose in this fashion. Like, this is only tier 1. What, like, why does it feel so one-sided? Isn't there more balance? I realized what I'm saying, I know. However, the problem that I'm running into is that I do no physical damage. I don't do enough. And like 95% of the quests in this damn game are like, here, go and kill 10 of these guys. And guess what? It's always just killing your high elf brethren. And don't take it out on me. It's not my fault. They needed to die. They shouldn't have messed with our big sexy daddy Malekith. Something, you know, you get the horns. So after I level, I realize I can go check out my specialization trees. These are sub-trees that provide extra skills and abilities for whatever tree you want to go down. This is awesome because you can kind of pick your own special subsection to customize your class. My poor naive brain says that I should go tank because I will be respected and loved for protecting my allies. This did not happen. This never happens in MMOs, and I've been playing them forever. What was my thought here? But now, let me hold on to my noble tank tree. After some minor obnoxious high elf cleansing, I begin working on another RVR, and this one again is in Ekrond and Mount Bloodhorn. It seems that things are not going well. While yes, we are holding them off to a degree, they are forcing us out. They have 3/4 of the cap and they're at 100%. If they reach all 4, we are donezo. This goes back and forth, more so reminding me of the stressfulness of World v World and Guild Wars 2, but even more the craziness of 100 players just running around doing whatever the they won. It's basically who can kill who fastest. Well, we make a strong push against the order, and one more taunt of my Evo boy band hair. We cap the last node with 100%, and all 4 nodes caught. Holy crap, the amount of experience as well as renowned I got was absurd. I have to say again, I see why people do this. Just farm the end game. Holy crap. After all the fun has been had, it's time for me to go back to boring old questing. This is the part that feels so tedious. Legit, I have several dozen quests, and all it has me doing is slaughtering my backstabbing brethren. The rage in me starts to die. And then by chance, a group forms, looking for people to come together to do Dragonback Pass, which is the newest low-level dungeon that has been done by the developers. And what's also cool about it is that they got the community involved as well, making some of the voice lines, asking for their opinions. It was really well done. And what can cheer me up more than killing some stunties? Well, we get a group of 6 together and we go around clearing the dungeon. I have to say it's great. A lot of fun. Even the bosses and the mobs hit pretty damn hard, but they teach you mechanics that you'll need to know, like how to de-aggro yourself if you're a DPS, or you know, who you should guard and things like that. It was really, really well done. We get through most of these guys, and then the quests are complete, and then one of the people in our group suggests that we go and look for the secret bosses for us to kill. Apparently, there are trolls all over the place, and we are now on a troll hunt. The first thing we'd go and do is look for all the down gyrocoppers. This apparently captures the dwarf, which if we capture them all, it allows us to spawn a troll, and let me be first one to say, thank God this thing was wearing pants. I was expecting this dude to be rock hard. What did he say? He's made out of stone, you creeps. Shut up. To get to the next troll, we had to kill a fishwife and then offer some fish in a basket, which doesn't make sense. I mean, there's tons of fish everywhere and we're like 6 massive Destro players. We could have just been like, hey, you know, give us that. And she'd probably been like, okay. Did we have to kill her? I don't know if hatred's for me, guys. I don't know. Well, we spawn the fishy guy and we start to throw hands, but this guy's all over the damn place. Apparently taunting him sent him into like an autistic rage. Well, we kill him and now that's 2 trolls down. Apparently there's still 2 that remain. We know it has to be done with this cannon that's primed and it's ready to fire, but we have no fuse. After 10 minutes about running around aimlessly, I finally find one of the goblins in town inside the dwarf area, and then we free him, and then he ends up giving us the fuse. So now it's time for us to go shoot our load, blasting a massive hole into the side of the waterfall. And then we see Goat Stealer, a huge, partially nude troll that can't sit still. Like, nobody is moving here, and he's out of range, and you can't target him. I don't know what's happening. Despite us all standing right there, everyone just frozen. It's like, what the hell is happening? Eventually, we whittle him down. Our magus in our group says that there's the last troll if we climb to the top of this mountain, and we find a chaos troll. And this thing is terrifying. It's got like a mishappened armed, all sorts of chaos stuff jutting out all over across him, and thankfully he's still wearing pants. If you think about it, because we are like the horses of destruction, that we literally have chaos people here, the magus, the chosen, the marauder. But it's not like that chaos. We're not the baddies. We're not the baddies here. After cleaning up the trolls, we get the all for one and one for all cloak, which is a purple cloak and it has a whole bunch of really good stats on it for free because we killed all the trolley boys as the secret mobs. And honestly, I find this amazing. I love secret dungeons and bonuses and bosses like this that just really pay off for exploration. It really it adds the extra effect. Now that I'm nearing level 16, I should go check out the Inevitable City, which is the capital of the Chaos Forces, to go ahead and get a better mount. And each time I go to the Inevitable City, I can only think of this song. I grab a 50% speed mount for 10 gold, which is like any other 16-year-old dreams, pouring their entire life savings into an absolute shitbox worth of a ride, but hey, zoom, zoom, zoom. At some point, I got the most embarrassing helmet, which only makes me look like I have a phallic head. I really didn't plan this out well. I should have hid the helm, but that's just too much work, and I'm level 15. If it's gonna be awkward for me, it's gonna be awkward for everyone else. Well, I cause a small massacre of high elves, and then I have an interesting quest of me killing some cold ones, which are basically raptors, but they're supposed to be the mounts for the dark elf. It took me so long to figure out that these were in fact raptors because I assumed that when they said cold ones, I thought it was like a brewskis. Like, okay, buddy, you want me to go crack open 10 cold ones? All right, say let. Oh, you want me to kill the Jurassic Park doggos? Okay, my mistake. I had no idea. You should have said I don't know. Well, I finally hit level 16, which is a big deal because now I can legally drive my mount without my learner's permit, and I'm basically a man now. No more tier 1 scenarios in Realm v Realms. This is all fine and dandy, but what's hilarious is that like I hit 16 and I went from the biggest fish in the smallest pond to the smallest fish in the biggest pond. Each time that I do Realm v Realm, it feels like there are several witch hunters and shadow warriors waiting for me. I do a bit of R&R and then I have to say, you know what? Hey champ, time to progress to the next zone. And this one took me for a ride. Ellyrion is known as the Horse Lord Zone. They have high elves here that ride massive war-bred horses into battle, which is great for them, but I run into a very unique and quaint little problem. Each one of these MFers hits like prime Mike Tyson. I can't take on more than one dude, giggity, at a time before I get my face pushed in. And then on top of that, my quote-unquote destructive force hits so slow and moves even slower that by the time that I clear one mob, the previous one has respawned and is ready to throw hands with me. Good gracious, what is this hell? I spent 20 minutes working my way through this damn public quest that had a lot of quests tied to it, only for one single slip up, and now I'm eating a breakfast of arrows and hooves. I snap back to some questing, which starts getting a little bit better after I find a gear vendor and basically get a whole bunch of items after dropping every ounce of gold that I have. But legit, it's a massive upgrade all around. I decide that I needed to go to a zone where things die a little bit easier, so I pop back into the stupid Shadowlands home of the Nagaroth, and it actually works out pretty good. Something about killing weaker, lower level elves fills me with such justification of hatred that I can't help but be proud of my progress. I switched to my glaive, and if you know anything about Total War Warhammer, you know that in fact using a spear deals extra damage versus large. Anything larger than a horse is considered large, so guess who's dealing a ton of extra damage against these absolute jerks? Not me, because that's a completely different game. No, I'm cleaning out these horse lords, and one at a time they're going down. I also get a better, less penis-y looking helmet, and things are going well. I pull too much, of course, and nearly die, but all the quests are getting completed, and now I'm nearly level 19, with my progress going smoothly. The only problem I am running into now is that it is so slow. Each kill only gets me like 1/100th of my experience bar. These mobs are at equal level and they still do nothing to move the needle. I start to enjoy the thought of spilling blood of the high elves. They are of course the reasoning for this mundane suffering and our natural avoidance of sunlight and vitamin D. To pass the time I do scenarios, and honestly, why wasn't I doing this before? One victory took about like 4 minutes and got like 30% of my experience bar. Instantly I queue for the next one and boom, level 20 with nearly 20% of the bar filled. Why have I been suffering for so long? I get a quick updated to my mastery points, but immediately I see a world of difference in my abilities and now that I have several points available. The full protector tank is coming. Despite me being tank oriented, I still provide a ton of damage, even killing some more horses and their riders with extreme prejudice. Nothing comes close to the slaughtering hatred that blackguards bring, but my time here with the horse lords is over. I must venture into the next zone and combat the high elf asshats in their own territory. Their territory, however, provides to be the most challenging place I have ever been. Avelorn. How could I describe Avelorn without simply stating that it would be very much like what I'd imagine hell is like, and they're essentially who Legolas from Lord of the Rings was based off of. This is how I felt stepping into this eternal summer nightmare.
Good morning, Vietnam! Some folks are born.
Doing my due diligence, I go ahead and grab up all the quests that I can get from this verdant hell, and I set off, queuing for every single scenario that I can join. Eventually, I realized that I have quite a few quests that are left unfinished, and the best thing I can do is turn in the ones that I missed from Horsey Town and then come back to Avelorn. This works in my favor because I get like a level and a half immediately from all the quests that I didn't turn in, but once I return to Avelorn, I spend my time culling who I can and then of course focusing on my scenarios. What I realized very, very quickly with the scenarios is that there is no such thing as matchmaking in the tier 2 to tier 3, the mid tiers. And honestly, the order is ridiculously overpowered. There is a 10 versus 10 match, and 5 of the people on the other team are healers. Then for Destro, we get 1 healer, but 5 tanks. No DPS is high enough to burst all the targets down, but there's not enough heals to keep us up anyway. What kind of sadistic matchmaking shit would do this to us? It's like they want us to fail. Well, culling through the forest, I do find out very quickly that even with a glaive, I still kind of hit weak, especially anything that has elf armor. Archers, yeah, no problem, they go down. Casters, not an issue. Any MFer with an actual shield beats me down harder than Uncle Ben did in Spider-Man. The queues seem to pop a bit faster here, which is nice, and honestly, my biggest gripe is that the balance, and it's not there. Despite most of the enemies going down fairly quickly, I still take a while to win. If I wanted to be the superstar tank that I am truly to my heart, I bring very little to the table. How am I to be the best tank in this game if I can't even defend my allies? If only there was something that I could do to improve my DPS overall and actually make more of an impact. By the way, I'm literally shit at this game, and for the first half of my leveling experience, I didn't have guard on anyone because I didn't realize that it could only be applied to group mates. I'm literally useless. After getting through the opening part of Avelorn's Archer Hell, the rest of the map actually got exceedingly easy. There is whole temples of these paper people alkalites that you can just kill and get pretty good at EXP. After a few more matches of getting slapped around in PvP, I earned possibly the greatest ability that I have ever gotten, and that will change my experience as a tank in this game forever. The ability, Exile. Based off of how much hatred I have, I can launch an enemy away into the distance. If I use this with max hatred, I turn into Adam Vinatieri, able to nail 60-yard field goals all day long. The single ability saved my lonely, desolate grind. The next match, I actually use this ability, except it shares a cooldown with every other root or knockback that any of my allies use, so if they do use another ability, I can't use mine. So I take my anger out on this witch hunter and I beat him in a 1v1. Of course, I had a healer sweep in and save me, but you know what? Shut up, it's a victory. After understanding that I need to queue for scenarios to gain meaningful experience, I have seen some of the funniest matches. This one match, we had a 3v3. There were supposed to be 6 players. Yeah, I think max on either side. Like, I think this is supposed to be a 6v6, and I think max either side. Nope, it is just 1 tank, 1 healer, and 1 DPS. It's actually kind of hilarious with that. I get really good use out of Exile, running over to a healer, punting them away, but honestly, neither of us really do enough damage to make a difference. Until they swap over to my healer and absolutely wreck him. I actually liked the smaller matches here. I feel like I can get my unyielding aggression out on my enemies in an up-close and personal fashion, and actually see what's working and what's not. Sometimes having like these huge, massive players does nothing but convolute things. Like, I don't know what's working, I don't know what isn't working. How much damage am I doing? Who knows? The instant queue matches seem to go a little bit better, actually providing more than 1 or 2 people. Like, truthfully, a 6v6 or even larger of a couple of matches all at all. It actually starts to work out really good, but I still lose. Each match is a lesson in futility. No chance, disorganization, and chaos. Even my beautiful Exile abilities do nothing but piss people off. Nothing of worth. We simply charge in and die, and it leaves us feeling more angrier than a hamburger at a hot dog convention. I do figure out what is best, and how to use my Exile to get some team kills. It makes it so much more satisfying that my enemy football was in high elf. You piece of crap. I queue up, but I decide to take some outright aggression out on some high elf Lothorian sea guards, because what's worse than elves with bows? Elves with boats. That's what. They probably have bows on the boats. I'm losing my sanity. I do keep queuing for Thunder Valley, which allows me to punt more stunties into the beautiful lava, which I love. Like, watch this beautiful dwarf, this wonderful dwarf. And he's up. And he's good at 58 yards. What a kick. Amazing form. And with that, the Dark Elves are going to the Super Bowl. Again, sanity is gone. This was actually one of the few random matches that we actually win. I personally feel like it was on my shoulders, absorbing all the damage coming in, but hey, what do I know? Q slowed down for the day, and I take the time to kill all sorts of random elves, and now Empire soldiers with dwarves start to pop up in my high elf far suit. Not that they aren't terrible, but honestly, this is more than I bargained for, I guess? I can literally only hate so much. I end up getting into this old dwarf road PvP match, and it takes us really close than I have ever had. It is literally down to the wire, and we get the win with only like a 30-point difference. What did I do in the match? According to the stats, absolutely effing nothing. But hey, a win is a win, and it's a team win, so I got carried. But now there's a huge problem that I'm starting to run into. The wins only award a minuscule amount of experience. The matches, as far as winning, mean absolutely nothing. This forces me to go down a dark path of nothing but questing, just like the good old mmorpg gods intended. Well, we actually have a good match and we push out pretty well, and I get 55,000 experience? The hell is this nonsense? How am I to speed run leveling and become the angriest tank in MMO history if I'm constantly only having to deal with 10% of my bar being filled for a win? I continue questing, gathering what EXP I can as I venture through this hell, and I mean literal hell. I decide that I need to leave this abysmal place and go to where I can make a bigger difference by stopping the tide of high elf mages that are stemming in. We go to Saphery. How does one describe Saphery, except for some magic-oriented society that does everything it can to better the forces of order and their colleagues?
You're a wizard, Harry.
All I know is, dealing with all these damn mages that are made of absolute paper is the easiest way that I can let out my aggression. I created a tactic build that when I kill a mob, I'm healed over 10 seconds for about 15 to 20% of my max HP. So when I am pulling multiple enemies, I can simply kill them and move on. I don't have to wait for all my HP to regenerate. Only problem is that a lot of these quests have us working through a few hundred of these robed assholes only for us to get cut down by those stupid super fast respawn times. I also pay attention when there's RVR combat occurring around me, because then this gives me an EXP buff for however many capped points we have, up to 40% increased experience, influence, and renown. That's incredible because it basically means I can farm open world quests and public quests and get a whole bunch of experience. What was originally 1,000 experience per kill is 1,400. Let's go. In the next few matches, I find out where I am best suited, either pushing forward into my enemy's front lines or hanging back and defending our back line from anyone who's coming in. Personally, with Punt, I like the backlines because I feel like I can make more of a difference there, but it's great when I get a group of enemies and I'm able to like fend them off with my totally badass shield and tanking capabilities. I die very quickly, I'm made of paper. I decide to join in a Realm v Realm of tier 3, and I quickly find out that this is an absolute mistake. One, I did not join a group, and things here are shared, so if I get any kind of kill or experience or renown, it has to be something that I tagged. And the second worst part is that I get obliterated very, very quickly without any support or healing. I try to do my best and like I can be the tank up front and you know help push back the enemy line, but I die so damn quick. It's like ridiculous. I don't even know what hits me. It's just you're done. It also appears that we were severely outnumbered, but that's minor details. After dying more often than a shirt at a tie-dye convention, I get the scenario that we steamroll the enemy. Their healer is outmatched and then we have some pumping DPS. I mean, it's exactly what you want. The following match gives me exactly what I need though. The experience I need to hit level 30. I have 10 more levels before I am finished with this journey. We are almost at the end of our hatred crusade. I do try some of these damn public quests that are supposed to encourage like people to participate and join in together, but I'm like completely by myself. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I get stuck with this evil thorny maze hell because I said, okay, I'll do some public quests while I'm getting the bonuses from RVR nearby, and that should be good. Oh wait, a single one of these little sprites are enough to do me in, and then they bunch 3 to 4 of them together, and then they put a 20-second respawn timer. Do you guys effing hate me? Literally, I'm fighting for my life with these little buggers, and they just keep spawning. You have to fight your way into the middle to get to the dryads to progress the public quest, but the only problem is I hit like a wet noodle and I have no damn support. The rage in me is starting to become overwhelming. I put a couple of these guys into the ground, and then for some unknown reason, guess what? They can phase through the wall like Casper the unfriendly fucking ghost, and I get obliterated. Aside from the rage, I see that the items that I have are very inadequate, and that this merchant is selling level 29 gear, which is significantly better than anything that I have. So yup, I load up and get my gear updated as high as I can with this bad boy. Somehow, I squeak into level 31, but I am done with this unholy place. Casters, dryads, I understand why Big Sexy Malik has wanted to unalive these treacherous bugs. Finally, this hate crusade is within its final throes. We're starting to get into the final zones of the High Elves versus the Dark Elves. Each one of the final zones is a part of the higher tiers of RVR. Caledor is a part of the Chapter 15 storyline for the Dark Elves, and honestly, this zone is soothing my genocidal rage. The mobs don't hit super hard, the experience is good, and everything isn't in that weird purple fairy hue that Saphery was. Man can relax here. And then for some reason, we start to do very, very well in PvP. Like actually able to push the order back, get a couple of wins, even punt a few stunties. It's actually amazing. I start to take my job as a tank seriously. Actually pushing objectives, applying shields where I can, and even doing my team a favor and never applying guard to anyone ever. I also find myself doing the open world quests less, as the reliability of doing scenario, even in a losing effort, is giving about as much EXP as 2 of these quests that were marked from completion. I meander around, picking up what simple quests I can do, like go over here, talk to this guy, or find this one thing, while I'm waiting for the queues to pop for my scenarios, and I actually take some time to realize how in-depth this game is. especially for it being a remake of what it was before it shut down. Despite the game having some clunky aspects, the visuals can be lacking at times, it really does do a lot to offer the world of Warhammer, and it really does a good job of creating that immersion factor. This actually really makes me more concerned about whatever Warhammer MMO that they're going to try to make here in the future, but only time will tell. Also, I somehow win this match just by simply AFK. I think I had like a kid emergency at this point, but hey, a win is a win. I've noticed that I've gone through a majority of this zone, and that is still high elves, but it's starting to blend in more Empire soldiers and dwarves as it progresses. For some reason, dealing with dwarves is far too sophisticated for my perfect porcelain skin and perfectly matched armor and hair. Good God, I sound like a diva playing as a dark elf.
I'm sorry, but the test was positive. You're a basic bitch.
At one point, I realized that the extra battlefield bonuses, if I go and do quests in open worlds near those RVR zones, are probably one of the more solid ways for me to actually gain experience, and I capitalize on this thought again. So I head back to that purple paradise of bullshit, Saphery, and I know I should farm some public quests, because honestly, the experience is pretty good, especially with me having the RVR bonus, and then on top of that, I'm able to smash things fairly quickly, so I think that this is probably the best way to go forward. It's also taking incredibly long for me to get the appropriate levels, that it's low-key not even worth me staying in a zone that's concurrent with my level. How can I generate experience, and how can I do it quickly? Then all my prayers are answered. The weekend scenario boost.
My fellow Americans, I think we all know where this is going, so let's just skip to the end.
We're talking 50% increase to experience gained and renown gained. Destruction actually on their game for what I can only call as an order beatdown after logging in a number of winning scenarios. Each queue, not only do we win with great difference. We are actually cleaning house, and I absolutely love it. It is simply a farm fest against these guys, and it is perfect. My renown is shooting up, my experience is going fast. Oh, the hatred burns bright at the slaughtering of these self-righteous bozos. I can feel it flow through me. Well, that actually becomes incredibly short-lived, because after winning 4 to 5 matches, then nothing but the curse of the matchmaking queues happens. We only get 1 healer while the order gets 5 to 6. There isn't enough damage for us to make any kind of difference. I can only tank so much. It then goes downhill, and then it's loss after loss. But do not fall into that pit of shame and despair. With this, I am getting 15% of my entire level, even with a loss. Sweet, sweet experience breaking. But then something unexpected happens. The weekend this scenario was going live, I had adult obligations, and I missed out most of the scenario weekend. Over the next week, I grind the only way that I know how, by massacring any high elf that I can find in the open world, and of course dying many times in PvP matches. It's only the right way. Some matches we actually crush it, other times we get blasted. Pretty even, honestly. Once in a blue moon, we actually get a match that's fairly close. I take out most of my aggression on the back line of the order, that is where I'm using my exile to kick anyone away, only to be furiously cut down. I am 5 levels away from hitting that Pentumbra max level in this game, and for me to be truly counted as one of the highest and most skilled ranked players in the game.
None of that story is true, is it, Carl?
Hours and hours I poured into the mindless grinding of bodies, the hatred flowing through me, causing me to end the life of every single order soldier that I can get my dark grasp on. I laugh at the toils that I go through. What sanity has been stripped from me, only to be taken out and acted as a catalyst for my aggression. But something unexpected happens to me. I start to realize that I am becoming more skilled at the game. I understand that using my guard ability finally protects my allies. I know how and when to pop cooldowns. I manage my skills and positioning better. I know which allies need to be protected. I take this time to go find all the gear vendors in the inevitable city, and I get a complete upgrade, but now that I'm within my final 3 levels, I have a problem. I geared up for tanking, which works amazingly, but it does nothing for DPSing in the open world. That means every single level that I'm grinding is inching along and has no traction whatsoever. I made my way to the Dragon Wake for a spell, only to have each one of these shining absolved soldiers make it a fist fight until the end. What am I doing wrong, I asked? Am I not strong enough? Does my hatred not burn bright enough? How much angrier do I need to be? Perhaps I should go and get counseling for my drinking. What is the answer? Let us consult the one who knows best. I commit to level 38, and it's still dragging. What is one to do except to go to the highest level zones in the hope that the experience will be enough to catapult me to max? And that's where the magic happened. Wait, that's not right. The final max level zone. I am ready to get it done and to be finished with this arduous journey, but a bit of joy streams out. We have arrived at the scenario weekend, Norden Watch. We simply just need to crush a few matches and I will be free of my burning hatred toward my high elf king, and Loki myself. But that's what the tank therapist was supposed to do. Each fight, each match is a struggle. I gain closer and closer to the acquired experience to hit max level. I am now near the ripe level of 39. With a quick loss and after getting absolutely blasted, I ding. I am within the final level of my grind. It is time for me to ascend, but perhaps I've been looking at this the wrong way. Perhaps being a tank and protecting isn't the best way to go about being the harbinger of death and hatred. Perhaps I should wield the glaive and become an even deadlier blackguard. After a quick switch of skills and traits, I am now a fully focused, melee ass-kicking, stunty punting, high elf hacking, empire smacking blackguard. The true game begins now. Immediately I become a threat on the battlefield. Critical hits, massive blows to everything. I am the danger, and this is what I needed to be. I needed to be the force of hatred, and it's coming to fruition. Not only do I crush souls, I punt enemies a metric mile with crazy justification. I fight this bright wizard, even though I am at half HP, I absolutely crush him and kill him before I die myself. The hatred flows. Then the final match. If I win, I become level 40. If I lose, probably will still get the experience I need to be level 40, but it's much more dramatic this way. I am in this match, and it is close. Only a narrow 20-point lead. And I have to play perfectly. Our team goes for an unorthodox method. Apparently only holding the fortress, the middle point, allows for twice the victory points that we would be otherwise getting if we were holding other nodes. We simply hold this, and despite the other two nodes being order captured, we will win. The patience and discipline gets the better of. I run off and try to fight some enemies, only to get pinned down near their home base. And all I can do is run. If I die, I feed points into the enemy team, and they win. If I live, we win the game and I'm level 40. It comes down to the final moments of me running for my life, and as I'm just about to be caught, the match wins. Finally, we have reached level 40. Now is where the fun begins. You dirty mother... That is utter bullshit. You mother... I hate this god man